Welcome to the KDR TV, and today in the studio we've got very special guests from SMFCU. So briefly they'll give their introductions, and from the far right we've got Mr. Motanya, but he'll introduce his full names. Go ahead.
My name is Tom Benz Motanya. I am the interim director for marketing of Sunrise Minto Credit Union.
My name is Moses Makori Nyang'au. I'm the interim director of financial planning and control.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kibwato, for having us here. We really appreciate it. Well, my name is Professor Brian Oenga. I am acting as the, interim president, and we have 6-member board. We have 6 members in the board, and we have Mr. Motanya right here, and Mr. Makori, and then we have Professor Otiso, who is acting as our secretary, and then we have Lynette Okemwa, who is also an interim board member in charge of the media, and then we have Mr. Geoffrey Gichana Chui, who is actually the president of Mwanyagetinge, Minnesota chapter, and also the interim board member, director for IT. I am very happy to say that the members are very excited, the board members that is, to serve you, to making sure that we can register this soon coming Sunrise Minto Federal Credit Union. And they are all volunteers. They are spending tons of their time together. They have spent their times together individually, and I really appreciate them, one and all, for their efforts. Thank you very much.
Is the credit union idea viable and of interest to the community?
Oh my God, of course, yes. Very much so. I mean, the reports we keep on receiving, there's one word that we keep on hearing every time we ask members, and that is, it's long overdue. Really it is, because the credit union actually brings members together to pool their resources so that they can actually decide their future, how it looks like, and by them coming together, they are more empowered. And therefore, yes, it has received very, very wide reception, especially from the Minnesotans who are here, and some people from Texas, New Jersey. We have received all responses from all over the nation, and we are so much encouraged. And actually, the board is responding to everybody who comes on the side to register with us. And I really want to thank the board one more time for volunteering their services and their time and their money, traveling here and there. And I really thank you, Bwana Motanya, and also Moses, and those who are not here. I thank them so much for that.
We appreciate that one. There's one question here I would like you, gentlemen, really to give a lot of keen interest, because members want to know. Some of them are not members, but already we've got some members. You've said you'll give us the number. But, I mean, we've got so many credit unions out here. So what is what really made you to decide to start SMFCU?
Well, I will take the job, and then my colleagues can join in. Go ahead. Well, for a long time, we've had immigrants come, especially from Kenya. And one of the main reasons why we, bear this kind of weather and, the winter and the stuff, living miles and miles away from home is for economic reasons, all right? And we think that through this vehicle, we can arrive at our objectives, our economic goals faster, because the numbers, using the economies of scale, would actually add value quickly to the members who will sign and be members of the credit union, in a way that then, of course, they can use that resources that they pull together to decide on whatever they think is best for the community.
Mr. Makori is going to answer that question. But every business, we must have taking a survey to be conducted actually to see whether the business is going to be viable. So Mr. Makori, as you are going to add on top of what my friend Mr. Brian has said, so have you conducted a survey and people shown interest to join the credit union. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for the question. I think Congress showed a tremendous amount of wisdom to enact a Federal Union Act many years ago. The purpose of the act is to form a federal credit union agency to administer the credit unions in this country.
Right.
Now, the reason for that is that many people in this country were unbanked. And when I mention unbanked, is because they are the group of people who are not accessing the banking industry. And therefore, for the government to channel money from the government and the public to the people who are not accessing the banking industry, they introduced the Credit Union Act. So the Credit Union Act helps people who are in this country and who are not accessible to the banks, and they get financial services. The same to Kenya. Kenya credit unions have tremendously helped our country so much.
Right.
Today, most Kenyans and most people in this country have found out that the bank with the credit unions in one way or the other. The disadvantage of them not having their credit unions is that when they bank in the credit unions, really they don't have authority to make decisions on, they lose. So it makes a lot of sense for us to have our own credit union where we make our own decision regarding loans, regarding deposits, regarding buying houses, and all this, regarding our student unions. There is a lot of wisdom in having, and I think, as many people have said,
right,
it is quite overdue.
Right.
Now, have we done research? That's the second question I think that has been asked.
Sure.
People we have talked to, that's what our chairman said here, it is much overdue. So we decided to volunteer the services of letting our people have their own bank, which they call their own.
Well, I will add quickly with what the Moses has mentioned. A credit union membership gives you the voice, which conventional banks don't give you. Because upon you opening a credit union, you have a share. Right now, we have suggested $50 as a minimum share. And once you have $50 as your minimum share, you have one vote. And you can speak through your vote in electing the leadership, in the charting the way forward for that credit union. And in addition to that, we want to say that the moment you are a member of the credit union, you have the power. You have the power to decide whatever you want to decide for your money. It's basically a bank. You run, it's like your own bank that you run, except that on this one, you can actually choose who's going to be the president, choose who's going to be your leader, choose where your money will be invested better. All right? And I think that's how, we're looking at that. Yeah.
We must also mention that formation of a credit union brings us together as a people. We consolidate our financial power.
Right.
Besides making decisions whom to give money, which we don't make in the banks we operate in,
Right.
we do have a community that can address the aging society.
Right.
For example, if we need money to put up, like, let's say, senior living or health system of our own, it will be easier. We can do it through when we have a credit union.
Right.
So right now, it's just unfortunate that we have not come together. We bank in a diversified banking. We don't have any power.
Right.
But this is the opportunity you can grasp this idea.
Right.
Thank you. What about the capital? When you're starting a business, at least you must start from somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you guys have the capital to start these ones? Because this is USA, and there are stifler laws, guarding businesses. So have you done that research, or do you have, how much money will you need to start this particular credit union? Go ahead.
The credit union system in this country is very, very regulated.
Right.
Very great monitored. We'll talk about this a little later on, but I want to mention at this point that a share capital is the amount which qualifies a person to be a member. A share capital is an amount that qualifies a person to be a member, and the weight of a person is determined by the amount you give as a share capital. This money stays in the company until you sell your own shares. The concept must be understood.
Right.
How much do we need for this, our credit union? The law specifies that the amount of capital should be 10% of the net assets. I need to explain so that people understand what it is. Net assets is the amount of loans that the credit union gives out. For example, if the credit union gives out 500,000 loans at any given time,
Right.
then the level of share capital should be 10% of that, which is actually 50,000.
Right.
Many credit unions give about, let's say, $4 or $5 million as loans.
Right.
So the amount of capital required for that size of a credit union that has loans of 5 million is 10%, which is 50%, 500,000. So how many people then do we need to give that? It is the amount each person gives divided by the number of people. For example, if there are $500,000 are required at the share capital, and we have 3,000 members, or let's say 5,000 members, then the average share capital is $100.
Right.
That's how it works.
Well, I may add also to what he just said. I mean, the interim board thinks that about 5,000 membership would be ideal so that we can show sustainability of the credit union. It's needed by the NCUA, okay? Now, they need at least either $300,000 or 10%, as you explained, of the projected assets in the 5th year, by 5 years in operation. What do you project? If you project like 5 million, which the board actually discussed, that's how we came up with about 500,000 for 10% of that. So if we project that we'll be making about, and the net assets will be $5 million in 5 years, it means that we must show capability of either 500,000, which is 10%, or 300,000, which is the very bare minimum that we need to show. How are we going to have this money? Through membership. And that's why we are saying, once we register about 5,000 members, and people say, okay, fine, I will save $50 per share. That's how much? You know the math, Bwana Kibwato? Yeah. 500 times 50 is what?
5,000?
500,000? 500 times 50?
It's 2.5 million.
$2.5 million dollars.
Yep.
You see, that's already a lot of money beyond what we are required to do at the very bare minimum of $300,000. And therefore, the capital is going to come from the membership. All right.
Do you have anything to say, Mr. Go ahead.
Yeah, this brings us to the point where how do the members register?
Right.
Yeah, because we need the members to register so that the credit union can be chartered.
Right.
So we have produced forms which are on our website, which is sunrisecredit.org.
Right. You're right.
Those forms are available there, and they are free. Registration is free. You don't have to pay any money at this time. All you indicate there is your name and address, and you show when how much money you will be willing to save when the credit union is registered.
Right. You're right.
So we have given there the base amount of $50, and it goes all the way to 125 or more. So it's for each member to decide what he's going to save, because that's going to be part of your shares, right? But at this time, it's free. There's nothing you produce. You don't pay any money.
As we are speaking right now, I mean, how many members have you reached?
We are about, I actually checked the numbers because I have the code, the access code. It doesn't have that. That's why I took the mic. Yeah, it's about 500 now. And the interest is much big. Just as I was driving here, I stopped by because there was a group of Kenyans who were meeting, and I kind of explained a little bit of what this is in about 5 minutes, and 20 members registered, and I have the forms right there with me. And actually, they were more willing, except that I did not want to interrupt. I just left and came, and I believe even from that group around will be more registering tonight and tomorrow, or in the next few days. And therefore, the numbers are looking good. So far, we are happy to where we are right now. We hope to hit about 5,000 in by 24th of this month.
How many, what's your target? How many states? Is it nationwide?
Everywhere. It's nationwide. It's nationwide, yes. Nationwide.
That's
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
It is possible we could go either the state to form a state credit union, but we decided to go federal because our people are spread everywhere.
Right.
And the more the numbers, the better it is to run a bank.
Right.
Thank you.
Can you, can one guy again, I mean, one of you also specifically say your not really your email address, but the website. Can you spell it properly so that?
Okay, yeah, the website is sunrisecredit.org. sunrisecredit.org. Sunrisecredit.org.
Thank you. So it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
Signing
Just your name
Yep.
and your address, which must be the U.S. address, okay? So you must be a resident in the U.S. That's the condition. But it can be anywhere in the U.S. Anywhere, be it Minnesota, be it, Wisconsin, New York, doesn't matter. Provided you are in America and you have an American address.
Okay, there's another issue here. I mean, there's another problematic issues, especially when running financial institutions. And this is America. Right. And here it's about integrity issues.
Right.
Now the current people who are the board,
Right.
how have you vetted them to fit in those big shoes?
Right. Well, that is a very, very good question. I'll take the job first, and then maybe they can also add. It took us about 2-3 months trying to call around and find from people. We don't have the machinery, if I may say honestly, to exactly know everybody. But from the preliminary check that we did, we know our people. I mean, people know you. If I call 10 people and they're saying, oh, Kebwato is the guy, okay, and therefore you get that feel. And that's what we did. I mean, the people that are with me right here, you know them. Some of you know them, okay? And I bet he deals with tax returns. He deals with finances. He is an accomplished financial advisor, okay? And of course, I teach also. I'm a professor of law. I will not be a professor unless they've done background check, by the way. You know that. I will not be able to teach. And I don't think he'll be able to work where he's working unless they did a background check. I don't think people will trust him with their money, with tax returns, unless they know his track record. And so is everybody that are on board. We're not saying that everybody is perfect. No, we cannot claim that. Nobody is. But at least where we are, we're comfortable with the team. And guess what? We're not going to earn anybody's money. No, we are not. All we are doing right now is to try and pitch for the membership. And once we have the members, we will call a general meeting. And at that point, members can decide whatever they want to decide for the credit union to be registered.
I just want to add that at that point, when people come together before they start operating, they'll choose their board.
Right.
At that point.
Right.
And they'll go through among their community and choose people who have integrity.
Right.
They forward this list to the government.
Of course.
And the government will vet and do a background check and approve or disapprove.
Right.
So it is a very thorough integrity check from your people, the people choose, and also the same people are vetted by the government before they take office.
Right.
So you are going to involve the government in this procedure?
The government is thoroughly involved from the beginning to the end.
In fact, what we're doing right now, Mr. Kebwato, is because of the government regulations. Over summer, these men did not sleep. Trust me. There are many, 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 regulations and things that we have to prepare. If I must mention, there are about 13 attachments to even the process of registration, including financial projections and so what and so what and whatnot. And therefore, it is really a laborious process, a very, very, stringent and laborious process that actually is controlled by the federal government through the National Credit Union Administration. So it's not our rules. No, we don't set any rules. We're just following what they have laid down for us.
Thank you. How safe is members' funds?
Oh, he deals with money. Let him answer that.
I think that is a concern for everybody, and I'm happy that you raised that up.
Yes.
And our people have had several experiences which makes them nervous when they do that.
Right.
But the safety of this money is based on two things. It's based on the process that this thing goes through for it to start. It also involves the government rigor verification. and every year reports. Let me mention these three things. One, I were just said earlier that people, before they start, the government will come over, verify their names and the addresses, and choose the leadership at that point. The list is taken to the government. It is vetted and approved. Then they start working. Every year, the government will require reports from all credit unions in the country to be filed by the agency. The agency sends the auditors to come and audit every year. That's 3 points. The final one, the amount that people give as deposits, as insurance, as share capital, is secured by Federal Credit Union Insurance Fund, up to 250. So even if 250,000. So even if the money is somehow is mishandled, the government pays back to the members immediately, up to $250,000 each member. So it's foolproof, it's insured, and it's safe.
I mean, let's put it this way, because the members have bank accounts. How safe is the money in their bank accounts?
Because
that's how safe the money will be in Sunrise Minto Federal Credit Union, because this is, as my brothers indicated, insured by the National Credit Union Share Insurance Fund, NCUSIF, and it's backed by the full credit of the federal government. And that means the federal government is part and parcel of this thing. And therefore, as you said rightly, there are many procedures involved and all are aligned to make sure your money is safe. And actually, for some reason, as you mentioned again, if your money is lost somehow, you'll be refunded up to $250,000. I don't know how many of us, maybe I've never dreamt of saving that money in my bank account, So I'll be right to say, like, all your money will be safe. All right.
That is correct.
That's correct.
Thank you. Short break.
Right.
When we come back, we'll continue from there. Thank you.